Hey everybody. So this video we're talking about this lovely company right here. PayPal. Let's just say PayPal, they ain't your pal. We'll just definitely say that for sure to start this off. So let's go ahead and start with the backstory. So I have a personal PayPal account, and back a month ago I had loaned out some money to a friend to help them pay a huge bill, and they decided to try to pay me back via PayPal. So initially, they asked me to send a request for to give them money, which happened to be $600. And they weren't able to, with something to do with their PayPal account, they weren't able to verify or something like that. So canceled the request, and they're going to send me payment via like a check or some alternative non-PayPal method. Well, fast forward a little bit of time, they decided to try send me a payment through a different account. Well, this account so happened to be an account that was previously used many years ago for a business. So when they sent the payment, $600, PayPal just assumed that they were sending the payment for purchasing goods or services from me. I ain't a PayPal seller. I don't even sell on eBay. So when PayPal sent the funds, they treated it like a business transaction. Number one, they took out an almost $18 fee. And get this, now they demand my social security number, so that way they can send Uncle Sam, the IRS, a 1099-K for those for that $600 that was supposedly a business transaction. The issue is, it was not a business transaction at all. And you would think that there would be some sort of like dispute process for that from the recipient's end, not the sender, but the recipient's end. No, none whatsoever. So when I got this money, which I wasn't expecting through PayPal to begin with, because, well, we were going to use a different method. The first thing I saw was, it was treated as a goods or services transaction, and I immediately said, okay, let's just go ahead and refund that. So I clicked refund, and the refund takes a full week. And guess what PayPal did next? Oh, it gets better. So PayPal, when they issued the refund, they didn't issue it from that $600 that was on hold due to a tax ID. No, they didn't use that money. They took $600 additional out of my account, my checking account. Good thing I had a balance. Good thing I had a decent balance. So this company right here, let me tell you, they're an absolute fraud. They are an absolute fraud. So the thing is, I spent 2 hours and 15 minutes this morning on the phone with them. Spoke with 2 levels of management about what I think is a very legitimate issue. So if you have a PayPal account, you need to watch this and be aware that this can happen to you. Overnight, you can magically become a PayPal business. They don't call it a business, but when you get that 1099-K from in the mail from PayPal, and of course, have to keep in mind, they also send a copy to the IRS. You're officially a small business. You must report that as business income to the IRS. Otherwise, if you don't report that 1099-K, you could be subject to an audit. So you have to report that 1099-K, and then you have to report a deduction for an error in this 1099-K, and hope and pray that the IRS believes your story. Hope and pray they believe your story, that you're not trying to get out of taxes. Yeah. So this is the thing. Any PayPal account, personal or business, can be subjected to this, because PayPal fails to do a check. They fail to check to make sure that you're authorizing a goods and services payment before they send it to you. They just, instead of simply asking you, doing any sort of pre-check or pre-authorization before completing the transaction, they don't do that. They just send it to you. They send you the money, and once you end up with that money, it's your problem to deal with. And the thing is, not only do they charge the fee, they also, again, they want your social security number so that way you can get a 1099-K in the mail next year for this tax year. If you don't send your social security number or taxpayer identification number, well, they will send you the money in a little while. It's like I think after April, but with 24% of that money withheld for IRS taxing. Think about it. You have a PayPal account, a personal PayPal account. You don't run a business. You never run a business. You've never sent money, or you never received money through PayPal for goods or services. Overnight now, if someone sends a large transaction, like $600 or more, you automatically become a small business. You automatically have to deal with 1099 forms on your taxes next year, because PayPal, they don't give a crap. They say they have to comply with the law. They say because that was a goods and services transaction, they must report to the IRS if it's $600 or more. Because PayPal's failure on their part to simply check with personal account holders to verify that they sold something or they offered a good or service. Think about it, guys. If I want to sell on eBay, I have to not only create an eBay account, but I also have to set up a seller account. And I have to list an item for sale in order to sell something. Generally, you think with like PayPal, a common sense measure would be, in order to sell a good or service from the seller's end, they must have to, issue an invoice for the amount due. I mean, that seems like an awful good idea. Or in the case of, let's say I'm selling a computer to somebody and they want to pay it through PayPal. The way that should work is, okay, here's my email address. Send me the pay request, and I can approve that pay request. So that way, in the event that, let's say, a personal account holder randomly receives a payment they didn't authorize, they're not automatically on the hook to have to deal with the IRS next year. Seriously, guys, that's what the first representative and 2 levels of management told me on the phone today. Even though someone mistakenly sent me money as a goods or services payment, which I didn't authorize as goods or services, it's now my problem to deal with. It's now my problem to deal with, thanks to this fraud of a company. So yeah, since I have a pretty good sized YouTube channel, I earn enough to where I get paid and I have to file taxes on that income, and Google sends out a 1099 miscellaneous every year. So I am already familiar with 1099s and how they work. And I should mention that 1099 miscellaneous in 1099-K, which is a 1099 form for payments received from a payment processor like PayPal, those are considered self-employment small business type deals. And with tax prep software like H&R Block, you have to upgrade from the personal version of the software to the small business or self-employed version of the software, which costs significantly more than the personal version of the software. So think about it. Provided you have a PayPal account, all it takes is somebody sending a payment to someone. Either they're given the email address wrong, or they type the email address wrong, and somehow they manage to send that payment and it goes to the wrong person. The wrong person who ends up receiving the money, even though they refund the money and PayPal sends the money back. Oh, and get this, yeah, we'll come to that in a minute. They still have to deal with the process of filing a Form 1099-K next tax season. Yes, the IRS does require payment processors like PayPal, Cash App, Etsy, eBay, and those to report earnings or sales of $600 or greater. But I'm pretty sure the IRS does not require PayPal to allow a goods or services payment to be sent without prior authorization from the recipient. This is what's ridiculous, and the person on the phone did agree with me that that's good feedback and they really need to take a look into that, because let's be honest with you here. This setup could be ripe for abuse. Not only could it really make things difficult for some innocent person who randomly received a $600 or greater payment that somehow got classified as a goods or services payment, and they have to deal with the tax headache of dealing with 1099 forms. They have to provide their social security number to PayPal. In other words, their taxpayer information to PayPal for a payment that they received labeled as goods or services for no goods or services sold. And also, when they issue that refund, here's the kicker. So when you issue the refund, you either have to provide your social security number to PayPal, so that way they can send you a 1099. Okay. It doesn't matter if you refund the money; they still got to report it to the IRS. If you don't bend over and submit and comply, when a refund is issued, they pull that money out of your checking account. So, thanks to PayPal, at this moment, I'm not out just $600, I'm out $1,200. Because for one, PayPal is still holding that $600. Even though today I had to submit, bend over and comply, submit my taxpayer information to PayPal, so that way I can have to deal with what I call a fraudulent 1099-K next year. They're also still sitting on that money. They won't issue it to my bank in probably about 3 days unless I paid them a fee. We should call this company FeePal. FeePal, because that's what they love. They love their fees. And I think personally, that's partially why, if you're dealing with a business account, or if, let's say you log into a business account, and here's the thing, the representative on the phone told me, oh, but business accounts can send friends and family payments to personal accounts, but not the other way around. I was like, ma'am, they sent me a screenshot. And I still have a high suspicion that PayPal sometimes just auto-assumes that you're sending money as a goods or services transaction. Because my friend told me they were not given the option to choose. They weren't given the option to choose between goods or services or friends and family. Either that, or it automatically assumed it was for goods or services. But it wasn't a really obvious way to click out of it. So, if you have a PayPal account, you better watch out, because overnight, who knows, tomorrow you might become a business despite never selling a dang thing. And if you end up with a high transaction, like $600 or more, you definitely become a business, according to the IRS. That 1099-K is considered business income, small employment or self-employment income. So, watch out with PayPal, guys. Watch out with PayPal. They're a fraud. They're a scam. And speaking of scams, there's a way that scammers could really exploit this. For one, let's say the scammer legitimately has a lot of money and they want to blow $600. They could just go on PayPal and look up any random email address on PayPal, send a payment for goods or services, and then immediately send a phishing email to that email address trying to look like PayPal to try to trick the person into sending their taxpayer information to them, their social security number. So there's a possibility that it could be right for abuse for identity theft. All it would take on PayPal's end is to simply offer protections to the recipient. They talk about buyer protections. They talk about sender protections. The lady on the phone is like, oh, but we require the person to confirm that you want to send this amount to this email address. Yes, we do all that. But I said, but you do nothing for the recipient. When I got up and logged into the computer that morning, I wasn't expecting to see $600 sent to me via PayPal. And I sure as heck was not expecting to see it sent as a goods or services transaction. Literally, I logged into PayPal and the payment was $582.06 because PayPal took their little share of the payment because they thought that somebody was legitimately buying something from me. This is what kills me. What were they buying? This is like, for example, with eBay, you list something for sale and someone buys the item from you on eBay. On PayPal, you could have sent a payment to John Doe or whoever and say it's for goods or services. You don't have to specify what you're buying. You just say for goods or services. How ironic is it that I log into PayPal and I look at that transaction and the steps and it says what to do next. It says ship your item. Ship my item. I didn't know I sold anything. This is so screwed up with PayPal. The simple fact again that anybody with a PayPal account can just suddenly receive $600 as a goods or services transaction, and you're automatically forced to either way you are forced into a tax situation. You either provide your Social Security, you either bend over and comply and provide your SSN or your taxpayer ID number, so that way PayPal can send you a 1099-K on that bogus transaction that had nothing to do with goods or services, or they will just withhold 24% of that funds to the IRS and send you the rest. What a fraudulent company, guys. What a fraudulent company. And I told Leigh on the phone, I said, it was one thing prior to the new IRS rule of requiring payment processors to report transactions or total transactions for a year exceeding $600. I mean, prior, it was one thing if you accidentally received a transaction on PayPal that was labeled as goods or services, you could simply refund it. There were no tax holds, to my knowledge. You simply refunded it, and that was the end of it. Unless it was $20,000 or more, because that was the old threshold. But nowadays, with it being $600, I really suspect that a lot of people in this year, 2023, which is the first year of that $600 minimum requirement, I suspect a lot of people will end up in my situation, for either A, someone mistakenly sent them the money as a goods or services transaction, or B, they weren't expecting any money at all, but somebody who was sending money on PayPal mistakenly typed one number off or one digit wrong on the one letter off on the email address, or let's say there was multiple John Smiths listed on PayPal and they selected the wrong one, and the wrong John Smith ended up with a payment. Now that John Smith, who was not expecting anything, suddenly overnight become a seller, and they're going to be receiving a 1099-K next year. Yes, guys, I am serious. I'm not kidding you. This is literally what they're telling me on the phone. The fact that it's refunded doesn't mean squat. The fact that it was a mistaken transaction doesn't mean squat. The fact that I wasn't even expecting the money on PayPal doesn't mean squat. They say, due to IRS laws, we must comply and report that income, that income to the IRS. What a fraudulent company, guys. So if you have a PayPal account, you've been warned. You've been warned. If you have a PayPal account, I highly suggest you look into how to deal with 1099-Ks, because whether it's a business account or a personal account, you're subject to get one, even if it's a mistaken transaction. That's a fraudulent company right there, guys. Y'all better watch out with them. So anyways, hope y'all enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. Well, everybody, that wraps it up for this video, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like the video, leave a comment, subscribe to Cube channel, and be sure to tick the bell, that way you get notified of new video posts. Also, I recommend following Cube Computer Company on Facebook. A link is in the video description. In addition to computer tech videos, I have a second channel, CubeComp MTDX. Links are available at the end of this video. Again, I hope you enjoyed this video, and thanks for watching and your support.